The decider of the match between AoL and last minute arrivals that is right now tied at 1-1 is going to be played on Midgard that has been just chosen from the Frozen Times random upset. And the gods are gonna be for Iron Maiden switching into Loki, Dark Risen coming back into the game as Odin, and Recon is going to be playing Zeus. Whereas for the opposing team, Heimdall is Oranos, Tompix Oranos, and Matreus Zeus. So basically the same lineup as they have used before. Interesting gods indeed. Let's see. Definitely no idea who could be better in here because all are aggressive and all can definitely play quite well their own mind and regard. Well, looking how Matreus is forced into the berries at the back, which is kinda usual of course on Midgard because you don't often start with all that extra hand or all that many cowies and such. He's going of course for the corner, which is definitely where you should go, as usually going into the middle, like for example Iron Maiden is forced to right about now, is not a great idea, and he could have invested a bit more and gone to the corner, as the corners are usually having a bit better chance of having more fishies overall. Even though he's gonna get lucky, you can see he's having a lot of enough fishies in here, as they are spawned quite nicely all around the map. So there's not going to be any wrong placement for either of the players, as we have also seen a first relic on the left. Better caravans, but caravans on Midgard, yeah, that usually doesn't work all that much, and especially since we are seeing those aggressive gods, I'm really thinking that's not going to be coming into play all that much. Bit of idols as he's finishing with the tree. Of course, not going to be lasting for much longer, as Dark Risen is not having any kind of problems, but is he gonna be having fishies? Nothing, and there's the 1-sum and 3-sum right next to it, so no problem. He's having a lot of fishies in there, so bit unfortunate placement of the dog, unfortunately. For him, definitely would have liked it about here, but still, considering we are on Midgard, it's not really hard bad. Looking at the gold, also pretty nice positioning for him. As we are also having right now, look at Iron Maiden, who is quite close to the shoreline, having pretty decent amount of fishies in there, but otherwise gold between the towers, so should be easily protectable for him. And this tree line, together with the berries, protected by the tower on the left and on the right, seems to be quite safe as well. And let's see where actually the high hand has been used. Actually, yeah, in here. Okay, so for these caribous, or other elks, and they are going to be something that he will be hoping for, that will actually last him for quite some time through game number 3. Another player to have a look at is going to be Recon at the very bottom, having slightly open gold, even though it's between the towers and the TCs, basically allowing it to be raided from this position, exactly the 4th spot that should have been covered by some tower on another TC. That would be ideal for him, basically to have the gold completely covered, but right about now it's going to be assailable by Turmas from this point, so not really ideal for him. But since he is going to be facing against the Oranos on the left, and I'm expecting that as a Zeus he should be quite aggressive, I'm thinking that he might not really mind all that much, and he might really be interested in a bit more aggression into his opponent than Tompix in him. Oracle at the bottom, trying to scout his opponent already. First Oracle, second Oracle with Heimdall, basically scouting at the same spot. The other two oracles in the pocket right about now, with the last oracle behind the base. They seem to be kind of converging onto the right side, so maybe Recon is gonna be doubled. You can see they're already moving to the bottom. Another relic. Better scout unit LOS. Well, could be helping the oracles, but they are gonna die pretty soon anyway, so not really all that much for him. We have seen this relic. Another relic for better Archer Ballista, Kero Ballista, Pierce attack. Pretty cool. And the last one we haven't seen is probably this one in the middle. Will it just kill animals in single shot? It's actually not a bad one for Midgard, because we are of course having not only the elks, but also pretty decent amount of walruses. And they could be potentially dangerous to the villagers, especially combined with some kind of raiding from the opponent. So yep, it's not a bad relic on a map like this, especially if you are forced off the water and need to go for a bit of extra economy on the land. 75% Prometheus for Heimdall, as we are seeing Matreus still not advancing. Going to be coming just now through. Oh, this is interesting. Saving resources from this mining camp into extra fishing boat. Maybe extra dock. Extra dock. And he was garrisoning in those skies because he was hoping for extra resources for the next age as he's going through Athena. But he has apparently forgotten that he actually garrisoned them. Yeah, that's not good. Right now, figuring it out. And here we see all the extra oracles arriving on the right side, so are definitely going to be doubling onto Recon. He's gonna be facing a bit tougher game for himself. And, well, how is he looking with the upgrades actually? In the next ages, just Heimdall and Tom picks as we'll be expecting. Recon, oh, just 20% into next stage. Well, that's a pretty big problem because he's gonna lose the dog for sure. Dog for sure. Even though he's gonna get third still. Extra BMS, of course, from the dogs are gonna be helping in basically keeping the water economy in check and the water fight as well. So not even all that Sheriff Recon will want to actually fight for the water. I'm kinda thinking not. And he might just want to go for full-on land build order, especially since we are still seeing enough boats, enough boats for the third dock and, of course, enough extra hunt at the back that will still be available to him and his economy. Classically just cleaning as Forest Fire is being cast by Dark Risen as Odin at the very top. It's a pretty nicely cast because this is a very bountiful forest that could have pretty big implications if it is lost, which it is. Still, he at least has the second one, so not really anything for the later game. But really, what you want to do is basically burn the biggest forest available because it means that the... Oh man, he forgot to actually switch. I forgot to switch the waypoint. Right now he switched, but it already cost him villager. And of course, all those dudes are kinda halfway dead, so they could be all that easier for the opponents to raid. In the meantime, Doc has... one of those has been finished or not? Actually not. So he's still very much alive, as right now Egon is through into the next age and is having both heroes and Centaur up, and together with towers he should be pretty much fine into the defense in here, as he's unfortunately housed, but that's probably not going to matter all that much, as he's having one villager on the favor, so probably hoping that he can get at least a few extra favor to help him with some Centaurs into the raiding. Well, water economy gonna get lost, as it doesn't seem like that actually anybody from AoL is going to be fighting for it all that much, even though at the top Dark Crescent is at least attempting to do so. And not really in a bad way, so Matreus will have to invest quite a lot more into the water if he wants, but he is of course being raided by the Valkyrie, and unfortunately not paying attention, getting damage from Odysseus and the TC, which means that she's gonna die for nothing. Oh man, that sucks. That's just a big of waste. Unfortunately for him, he himself is quite heavily raided right about now by the hero and Minotaur in his own base. Even though he's here paying attention, but still. Restoration by Matreus on this. That's unusual, but very clever play, because it means that he's basically forcing all the villagers from his opponent to stop doing anything in here. And since this is the placement that he's having the goal, oh man, this is actually very nicely placed. Restoration for him, and just the Jason and Minotaur with extra life are everything, all it takes to put Dark Vision in a pretty tough situation. Nicely played, especially with Heimdall joining into the fun. So dudes joining in here, next to Hunt, and of course for the tree line as well. Probably not scouted all that much, as you can see that Tompix is right about now basically owning all the waters at the bottom, whereas at the top, Matreus not really doing the same, but he's not really interested in it all that much, because right now, with the help from Heimdall, he is in a pretty good position to basically kill Dark Risen, even without the need to kill him on the water, so I'm thinking this is pretty correct decision from him. A bit of raiding at the bottom from Iron Maiden as the pocket position player, but he should probably retreat a bit, because his ally will need help. Dark Risen is in a pretty tough situation. And even though he's right now trying to control Heimdall exactly like this, Heimdall is having enough army both at the bottom and at the top, and since he's going to be joined by Matreus, at least a few units from him, apparently not any longer, with the Katascopos almost dead at the top, right now scouting what's going to happen in there. The army should be coming back into play pretty soon, and he's right now just basically waiting for the correct army. You can see triple military academy, and that's gonna result in pretty brutal hoplite rush and overall Athena rush. together with Heimdall's help. Even without restoration, that's going to be quite deadly for AoL. Looking at the bottom, we are seeing a bit of raiding also from Tompix onto Recon. Quite nicely played. Also, of course, on the water, there's not much that he could be doing against him. And Tompix is going for a second TC right now, with Recon advancing into the Heroic Age quite soon. I'm not exactly sure what his game plan could be. He could be just attempting to jump into the next age, into Mythic altogether. Let's switch into Recon, and his resources doesn't have them at all. And since he has lost the water, he actually hasn't lost it all that much. He's still having a pretty decent amount of fishing boats, which definitely help him in his economy. Which means that Tompix has to do a whole lot more. But still, he's really knee-deep in trouble in here. And if Tompix decides to switch from the water battle into land battle into full, I'm fairly certain that he's gonna be in over his head. Right now casting his fire because he needs to protect the villages of Iron Maiden on the gold, with Tompix quite nicely raiding them. And of course on the left it was at the opportune time, as Dark Lizard was facing a pretty deadly army of hoplites from Matreus, who are already mediums of course, and that would be something that he might not be all that ready to actually deal with. Yeah, you can see that he was building actually a lot of farms from villages, rather villages. Just change some of them into Ulfsarks, as he needs to finish with the military buildings. He also needs to finish with them because he needs to get some extra army coming up, which so far isn't, as he probably doesn't have enough resources. Let's switch into him. He does have something, but really not enough gold, and he needs to somehow secure some gold mine, which he has at the very top. So he should be pretty much fine with that position. Scouting with Raven at the bottom. Kataskopos is having a bit of fun and trying to look around his opponent's base. And we are also seeing that Iron Maiden is right now at 2 TCs, and Underworld Passage is gonna get cast. So this is the reason why Recon was actually jumping into the next age, and he's gonna try and surprise his opponent, who isn't building or rather researching next age in here, even though he's still in classical. Probably researching it at something else or other somewhere else. Going for the extra TCs, and even though he's gonna finish with the TC, it's not going to be long lasting because army is hope from not only purple, but also Heimdall, and with all the towers being already up. It was a nice idea, but it's going to backfire. It's not going to do anything at all, even though it might be some kind of help to his teammates in the middle and on the left side. Matreus still is also quite nicely raiding in here, and is gonna get rid of all the army of the Iron Maiden, who is so far also on the prowl, trying to find something to kill, and otherwise that's pretty much it for him. So goodbye all the army from Recon. He has probably retreated into safety. With at least a few of them, of course, not with all of them, but he's gonna lose the Underworld Passage, and I don't really think this was worth it. Probably wasn't. At least bought some extra time to his teammates, so let's see if they are going to be able to use it. Some kind of effect. A last minute arrival. Like literally last minute. 17 hit points. Oh man. 17 hit points before it was finished. Pretty clutch by Iron Maiden, and Heimdall will have to wait a bit before he is up at 3 TCs, and oh man. It has actually much more direct implications, especially with not lions, but wolfies helping into the fun. Away the villages, and that's 4 citizens dead for Heimdall, and oh man. That actually is a pretty big problem right now. Man. It's right now going to be putting a stop to this. Heroic Age Matreus Iron Maiden. There's a bit of fun still to be had. All the hoplites from Matreus, of course, as front TC is right now captured by Dark Risen, and he seems to be quite comfortable with the situation now, gathering gold inside his base, but he needs to be careful because probably will want to somehow protect this part of the map, not only for the gold, but also for the hunt. You can also see on the water that Matreus has been able to secure the water for himself. That's actually a lot of population limit for him. Might want to use in the battle actually. And Tompix unfortunately not really doing enough in winning the water altogether, even though he has killed some economy. He hasn't killed all of them, and he hasn't killed the dogs yet, which means that Recon is quite alright to take advantage of that, and he's still having water economy, even though he basically lost the water a bit earlier. So nicely played by him. Fortunately for Maiden, Heimdall is just now discovering what's happening in the front in here. Going to be having a bit of fun. The 1v1 with the Ulfsark. But Darkison seems to be quite nicely back into the game, having pretty decent army, and with that he should be quite fine to get rid of all this nuisance that is right now raiding his economy. So far, Tompik's advancing into heroic, as unfortunately, oh man, Darkison, really? Really? Oh, that's gonna hurt. Especially with right now yellow, with already heavy hoplites joining into the fun. Even though they are going to lose a ton of army, they are of course going to at the same time kill a ton of economy of Darkison, and that's exactly a trade that you want to do. Especially right now with Underworld Passage from Matreus coming in from some kind of position. I would be thinking right next to his home base, and oh man, this is a disaster waiting to happen for Darkison. Even with Recon right now arriving in here, and Matreus right now Mythical Age, of course, if he can keep this standing, he's going to be in pretty good advantageous position, because he will be able to send Golosite through the Underworld Passage, and of course, that's not something that they won't be able to somehow hold in their power. So let's see, because it's almost looking like that AoLs have actually been able to defend in the end. Which would make this Underworld Passage a total waste, exactly like Recon's. Not really total waste for Recon, it did its damage. But right about now this is looking quite problematic for them. This is going to be ceasefire. They don't have ceasefire. They don't. Matreus actually has gone with the restoration and he has already used it. So, yet again, wasted Underworld Passage. What the hell? What the hell? Such a waste of such valuable and powerful thing. Well. Iron Maiden right now behind the yellow base, potentially waiting for some kind of extra base for himself, even though he's quite nicely establishing in the middle, basically so that he can help Recon and such. As we are looking at Matreus getting rid of the front TC of Dark Risen, who is forced to just one right about now, and will be needing quite a lot of help, even with the trees right now walking around and trying to kill everything in their path. Let's see. Conflicts right now getting extra heroes from the Turmas, so that should be helping with getting rid of the trees, of course. Yeah, we can see that they are killing them quite easily and fast. Seems to be going quite nicely for a last minute arrival so far, as the battle is going to be joined by Recon as well, as it's really seeming like that actually everything is converging at this point, and it's definitely going to be quite important, because this is front EC for Dark Risen, and if Matreus can take it, he's basically gonna be up at 3 TCs, as Heimdall unfortunately stole 1 TC from him, but since he's playing the best, kinda makes sense. But I would definitely like a bit more TCs for the Zeus, as of course he's going to be a much more problematic enemy for his opponents. Well, AoL's doing all they can, as the TCs attempted to be finished by Iron Maiden in time. It definitely will be important for a bit of defense for him in there. And well, we are also seeing that Dark Risen is going to be paid a visit to by at least one Colossus and Helepolis, and probably a bit more, as some hoplites are also arriving into his base. He'll probably be attempting to jump into the next age. You can see the market. Unfortunately, he doesn't have food at all. You could have seen it because he was even housed, or rather, wasn't building any extra villages from the DC. Yeah, this is gonna finish because of all the fire in here from all the units and the extra Ulfsarks. Oh, now it might. Now it seriously might. One more hit. Oh no. But from the Helepolis. One more. Can you? Yeah. And right now this should be finishing. Come on. Yes. Yes, you should. Oh man, that's close. It's coming down. Yes. That was last minute actually help of Heimdall. And without those guys it wouldn't be taken down. And well, it was right about now, so that's nicely played. And definitely a pretty big problem for Dark Risen, who is down to 0 TCs. And of course, that means that he will be basically in a pretty tough situation to deal with anything in here. As even though his teammates are doing a pretty great job pretty great job of trying to take down the front TC of Matreus right about now, which is basically front of Dark Reasons. They are not going to be helped all that much by their red teammate, and that means that the opponents are fighting, at least for a moment, like 3 versus 2, especially since the extra TC that they are still having. Nice bit battle for the TC, which is coming down in the end, due to also the horn of the INR, making the attack of all the adjacent units a bit stronger. But we are seeing just at the same time, as the Recon is advancing into the Mythical Age, that at the bottom Tompkins is moving forward into the opponent's base and trying to get rid of Maiden's not only military buildings but also the TC, as the Tartarian Gate has been cast. I'm not exactly sure where, but somewhere of course is dealing damage. So far we are seeing pretty good economy going on with some decent upgrades also. Could have been slightly better, but since he has just advanced, it's not really all that bad. Doesn't need all that much wood, so not really anything that would be all that tragic. But Tompkins is raiding with the Stymphalian birds is definitely a nice idea, but he needs to control them a bit better. Yeah, like on these villages, for example. It would be doing a whole lot more than just dying and shooting at the mining camp. So, push forward right about now from Heimdall and Matreus, even though Iron Maiden is doing a pretty great job. The defense, and even slight offense, but right now he's going to be facing 2 opponents, and that's exactly what we were talking about, as Dark Risen is still not into the game quite fully, and he doesn't have any upgrades at all. And since he's going to be facing medium Archive with bronze shields, copper mails, and from the yellow player, medium Toxos with bronze shields, copper mail and copper weapons, that's of course a bit too strong army for him. And Iron Maiden, even though he's having bronze, copper, is not going to be strong enough for a double like it is, especially with Bellerophon killing all the mythical units as easily as only he can do it. Bellericon though is unleashing himself as the mythical Zeus, of course. So we are going to be seeing champion fanatics from Tompkins who are having bronze mail, copper weapons. Whereas Green is having heavy Myrmidons and nothing else, but he should be coming up with some extra upgrades pretty soon, I would be expecting. Especially since he's still at 3 TCs, and let's see if he can somehow push back the attack on Iron Maiden in here and keep basically Tompkins in check, because that could allow somehow the battle at the top to stabilize, but at the same time still it seems that this army from Matreus and Heimdall is a bit more than Iron Maiden himself can handle, and since Dark Risen is not such a significant help, basically having problems so far to get somehow into useful position. He is, of course, still alone, and that means that he's not really having a good expectations of the battles to come. It's already set up, as Heimdall is trying to set himself up right on the doorstep of the green player, as they are nearing the TC to get rid of it. As of course, Fanatics are absolutely shredding all those fights and even Myrmidons. Yep, Fanatics are basically accounted to Myrmidons, and he will need to switch it to something else recon, and that something else might be just normal dog swords. If he has enough resources for the upgrades, but it might be a bit too late, because even though this guy is trying to heal himself up, the TC is basically coming down without any kind of doubt. And let's see if the 1 TC less is going to mean something significant for the battle at the top, which definitely should, as, yep, Heimdall with Matreus are also going a bit forward in base as well. Unfortunately, those Roman Axemen are not going to be all that useful against all those Archive. They might kill or rather deal some damage to those Hypaspis, but that's going to be pretty much it. And since there's yet another pretty decent rating at the gold at the back for Dark Risen, he is most definitely not having any kind of easy gathering of the resources, and the wolf, of course, grab it in, is going to be joining with the fun and killing the villager for himself, or having a bit of meat on the ice. Okay, Vortex at the very back, into the gold economy of the green player, and that's not a bad idea at all, because he is fully engaged in the forefront, fighting right next to the TC of Iron Maiden and next to the palaces and towers. Nice position from Tompkins and very hard to get rid of, and since this army is gonna get rid of Recon's gold economy, you can see that he's having cooperative strength and he's not even housed. This will of course mean big troubles for him, as he's probably gonna lose the battle at the top and also everything else at the back pretty soon. especially with the birds being ready and going for extra support of the Gigant in here at the back. And that's Dark isn't resigning, as he has of course right now been forced into exactly that course of action. There wasn't any kind of chance that he could be defended against this coming into his base. But of course, Iron Maiden is having his hands full defending against the onslaught that is coming into his base from somewhere in the middle. That's a gathering of gold right next to his opponents. But well, Iron Maiden sent all the army to help defend Recon in the back. He doesn't have enough to fight in the forefront, and since Recon is right now going to be able to defend with this, he might be able to somehow at least help himself at the top, but not really for much longer, because these Helepoli with the Colossi are gonna get rid of this TC without any kind of problems, which means that Iron Maiden is down to 1, and not even the Zilfort is gonna get finished. Yeah, there's not much of a chance right now for him that he could be holding the situation any longer. Yep, switching into Myrmidons, yellow player Matreus, so that he can actually kill all those dudes, as at the bottom we are seeing basically a breach of the wall, and taking off the TC, the Tompix is at 4, and it will be arriving in the Recon's base fully, and basically means that the economy and overall army advantage is definitely going to be for last minute, going for last minute, and since they are 2 versus 1. Right now switching into Recon as the last player as Iron Maiden has resigned. This is going to be the last battle of the game. And here we go. Congratulations, last minute arrivals. You are in the quarterfinals 2-1 after pretty equal match in the round of 16. Basically one of the most equal matches. The other very equal match was between the Fister sisters and... oh my god, who were actually their opponents? I'm gonna quickly check. TM Knight, the Legends team, and that was a very nice match as well. But this was quite nice indeed, very equal, all 3 games. Even though the first one was going for AoL from the very start because of their very nice rush, still, last minute arrivals, they did all they could to make it as long game as possible. But in here, they definitely came through. Nicely played. So let's check the post game. With Tompix playing well, but I'm thinking that Heimdall also played well yet again. But Iron Maiden didn't play half bad either from AoL, so that has to be said. Unfortunately, Dark Risen, yeah, he was quite badly rated at the start, and he basically came with him for the whole game. You can see even the economy was like half of everybody else, half or even third of it. So yeah, unfortunately, wasn't able to help his teammates all that much, but that sometimes happens when you are placed in a tough situation very start. 535 advance, 548. But since they were on berries, on Midgard, yeah, it's kinda understandable. But still, all their opponents were able to advance quite fast, or all of them. 2 Oranoses, they definitely helped them. And Matreus, he wasn't really far behind. Yep, faster advances, they make a difference, of course, in the early aggression. You see the slaughters of the red villages, the first one, and this was, well, a very bad one. There is another one in the front in here. Yeah, he was having just tough situations all around. If he wasn't having this one and this one, he would be like at the yellows level. That would have been a whole different game. Whole different game for him. Okay, GG.